In this video we're going to go ahead and use a detailing clay to remove above surface bonded contaminants. This particular car was freshly washed about an hour ago, and we're going to go ahead and demonstrate how to remove those contaminants. This is typically a step you would want to do before polishing your car, and for regular maintenance you might want to do it once or twice a year in order to keep the paint in its best possible condition. Okay, before you begin, you want to make sure that the surface of the car is clean as possible. It's a freshly washed car. And you also want to make sure it's cool to the touch. You don't really want to do detailing clay to a very hot surface. And keep in mind that if the temperature outside is 60, 70 degrees and your car is sitting in the sun all day, the surface temperature of the car can easily get up to 135 degrees. So you really want to make sure the surface is cool, otherwise the lubricant we're going to use will flash too quickly and the detailing clay will smear on the car. Often one asks, how do I know if there are above surface bonded contaminants on my paint? In this car, being black, it's particularly challenging to know if there are above surface bonded contaminants. And the easiest way to do it is to simply get a Ziploc bag and place your hand inside the bag. And what you want to do is lightly go over the surface of the vehicle, and as you go over it, very lightly, your fingers will slide over those above surface bonded contaminants and you'll feel them. You'll feel a very rough surface. So while the surface of the car looks very smooth and very glossy, really what you're going to feel are all those contaminants that are stuck to the paint that haven't come off during the wash. Okay, now that we've performed the bag test, we've located the above surface bonded contaminants, which by the way are probably all over the car, although I only did it on the horizontal surface. We're going to need a few specialized products that you can find in your local automotive store or from any detailing supply outlet online. And first and foremost, you're going to need a high quality lubricant. Keep in mind that the detailing clay needs to ride on this lubricant as you use it on the vehicle. If not, you will undoubtedly mar the surface of the paint. So starting on the left, we have Meguiar's Quick Detailer. This is a commonly found product and it works very well for our purposes. Next to that we have Final Inspection. Final Inspection is often used after a polishing step to determine whether or not you have completely rid your car of swirls. And next to that we have some Optimum No Rinse mixed as a quick detailer, which also works very well. So either of these products will work fine. We're going to go ahead and use the Meguiar's Quick Detailer to demonstrate how to do the claying step. And finally, on the far right, there are two detailing clays we have here. One is Pinnacle Ultra Poly clay, which is a very nice clay. It's a very fine clay. And then next to that we have Meguiar's mild detailing clay, which is the one I'm going to use for this demonstration. Okay, here we have our Ultimate Quick Detailer that we're going to use as our lubricant, and we have our mild detailing clay. The clay, once you take the product out of the packaging, comes in a very large bar, and really what you want to do here is take off a piece that really you can fit in the four fingers of your hand, because you're going to go ahead and glide this clay over the surface in the four fingers of your hand. So you want to take off a big enough piece that will allow you to do that. So what you do is take the piece off. You want to knead it, get it nice and soft, and go ahead and really you want to kind of make it like a pancake and have it fit in the four fingers of your hand. And that's what we're going to go ahead and use to clay the car. The way you want to do this is you want to simply spray the surface of the paint, and then you're simply going to take your clay and you're going to glide it over the surface. And at first you're going to feel the clay pulling, so let's go ahead and give it a nice spray. And typically what I like to do is keep the sprayer in my hand as I clay. Often if you spray the clay also it helps. You want to move it back and forth lightly over the paint, and again you don't want to apply a lot of pressure. You just want to move it back and forth, and you will feel the clay grab, and this is what it should be doing. It's going to grab on the surface, but then after a while it'll start smoothing out and you'll just have it nice and gliding over the surface like that. If you feel it pulling too much, you might want to just spritz it again and just keep going. Now if you do this in the sun, what happens is the quick detailer will start to flash too quickly and the clay will grab on the surface, and it will mar it if you do that. So you just want to go back and forth nice and slowly until you don't feel the grabbing anymore. Just like that. Spraying is needed. And then after you finish a section, you simply will wipe it dry and move on to the next section. You're going to need a high quality microfiber towel. Simply move it over the surface to dry it. Okay, proceeding on to the next section, often you'll be able to see a line where you stopped, maybe with the detailer, or due to the fact that one side is rough and one side isn't. It's no problem if you overlap sections. Actually, it's recommended. So go ahead and spray a new section. Flatten out your clay again. Go ahead and move it back and forth nice and smoothly. And provided you use a lot of lubricant when you clay, you shouldn't at all mar the surface of the paint. Detailing clay does have silica in it, and it will mar the surface of the paint if you don't keep it wet. Don't worry about using a lot of detailer spray. It's fairly inexpensive, and you can easily do a whole car or multiple cars with one spray bottle. So again, nice back and forth motions. Typically you don't want to use circular motions with a detailing clay, as you don't want to induce any swirls in the paint if for some reason the clay does start to get dry. And what I'm doing here is every time I feel the clay grab, I'll concentrate on that section, and then I'll move on to a new section. So here we are up at the top of the hood now. I'm looking at the clay. It doesn't look too bad as far as contaminants go, so I'm not going to re-knead it just yet. After this top section, I'll re-knead it, and then we'll move on to the center of the hood. Again, just move it back and forth. Go ahead and dry it with our towel. Nice and smooth. Now we'll continue on with the center section. And really, once you get the hang of it, you can do a whole car in about a half hour. There goes a piece of my spray. Then we just go back and forth, nice and smoothly. Make sure your surface is kept wet. Typically on the hood of a car, you will find a number of bonded contaminants. This is simply due to the horizontal surface of it. This particular car is kept outside year-round, so subject to a lot of acid rain. And typically the very front of the hood will have a large number of contaminants on it due to the fact that it typically gets abuse from driving on the road. So there we go, nice. This is coming out nice and smooth. Number of contaminants there. Actually the clay, hard to see on the video, but the clay is actually turning brown, and that's where the contaminants are. So we're going to go ahead and re-knead this, spray our new section. And you don't want to do too large of a section at a time. 1 foot by 1 foot or 2 foot by 2 foot section is just fine. You flatten your clay out. Put it on the paint nice and light. Move it around. You can use one piece of clay for a whole vehicle. One thing to keep in mind, however, is if you drop the clay, it's ready for the garbage, because there's no way to get those particles out. So try not to drop your clay, similar to if you drop your microfiber towel on the ground. It's really useless for the rest of the car unless you go ahead and wash your towel. In the case of the clay, you will need to just discard it. So there we go. We just did half a hood. After you're done, you will be able to feel lightly with your fingers, and you should really have a glassy, smooth surface. And in this particular case, we do. Often after this step, one would proceed to go ahead and put their last step product, their wax or their sealant. But keep in mind, what the claying has done is remove the above surface bonded contaminants, and any sort of embedded contaminants that fall in the little pits and valleys of the paint are still present. So in this particular case, we're going to go ahead and proceed with a paint cleanser step before we go ahead and put our last step product.